Hi there, my name is Richard Murfitt. Welcome back. As you know, I'm a brand transformation expert and I work with CEOs, entrepreneurs, and brand leaders in dot-coms and online companies to help create breakthroughs in their brand performance and also their business growth. Now, as you've been watching, if you've been watching these video series, you'll be aware that I am debunking several myths that I believe are real needle movers now in the new economy for those online companies that really want to get ahead of the game. And I call these needle movers because these are based on 20 years of experience of working for big companies, small companies, online companies, and offline companies, and having a wealth of experience of understanding things from different perspectives and different rules of the game, as it were. Now, in this particular video, I want to debunk a myth that might feel like it's common sense. You might think, okay, that's not a big deal, Richard, I get that one. On this one, it's about find your formula for success and milk it for as long as possible. Now, as I say, you might think, well, yeah, Rich, I get that. Of course you don't milk it for as long as possible, but you've got to move on. Now, the practice really is, though, is that people, online companies or any company often find that they don't know when they have found their formula for success. And they don't know because they don't know they're in the trap. And that is the trap, is that you find yourself finding that you're getting success and momentum, and therefore you think you're on your upward curve, and you keep thinking there's more to go, and more to go, and more to go. So you keep going with it. Why would you leave a great idea or move on to something else when you're having so much success already? But this is the thing, this is the trap, is that you have to wait until you peak and come down, and then you lose momentum to realize it was a trap all along. Do you see what I mean? Now, I understood this from working way back, several years ago for British Airways. And this was way back, sort of 10, 15 years ago, pre-September the 11th, after September the 11th. It was also, so it was economically a very difficult time for British Airways and the airline industry as a whole. But more important for British Airways, it was also being attacked by the low-cost carriers, the Ryanairs, the EasyJets, and Virgin, and the rest of the industry as well, because British Airways had thought it had found its formula for success probably way back in as far back as the 1980s and 1990s, and was carrying that success through, and had come a little bit complacent. And it wasn't until really it's kind of peaked and started to have many external and competitive and threats and attacks, that it realized that actually, we now lost our brand momentum and we have to kind of fight back to regain it. And it takes years. And this is the thing, is that you don't want to find yourself in the trap, always keep thinking the curve is going to continue up, and have to wait for it to come down. So, yes, it sounds common sense what I'm saying, but be aware of the trap, because then that's the bit where the common practice falls away. Now, Google is a great example. Now, used over and over again, I know, but is a company that is always thinking about what's my next upward curve. So it started obviously with a search business and did, amazingly well as a business in that area. But it could have stopped there. I mean, it could have stopped there and said, we found our formula for success, that's it. And just milk that for as long as possible. And you can see from a brand perspective, it would have been depositioned as some kind of category monopolizer that's kind of, taking everything over, the fat cats, or, from a revenue perspective or a growth potential, you could see the limitations of it in the long run. So it understood that it needed to find its next curve, and that will be an adjacent curve that will kind of run alongside its search business in new areas and new product areas that run alongside it. That's where Google Plus came from. And, some of those ideas might feel like they're not particularly on the curve now. They're just, well, ahead of the curve, sorry, they're just on the curve. But if you look now at Google self-driving cars, that's ahead of the curve. But in a few years' time, it might not be. So Google is a great example of it's not fallen in the trap. It finds adjacent areas to keep finding new areas and almost like new curves, continually finding new curves rather than relying on the one and waiting for the trap to be fallen into. So anyway, I hope you find that particular insight useful and understanding that actually what might feel like common sense is actually not common practice, because in this particular example, from my own experience, it's a trap because you don't know you're in it until it's too late. So keep innovating, keep thinking of new streams of ideas for your business, keep developing your product suite in order to keep ahead and also not become reliant on a formula. Hope you find that useful, and I hope to see you on the next video.